Everybody.
Hey friends, so let's get started. Welcome to day 2. I'm going to mute you all, and you all can speak as you feel like it. But for now, I'll just give you a welcome and tell you the goals that we have for today. So as I said last week, drawing is super important if you are interested in getting it accurate as possible, right? Obviously. So we had about a week. I know everybody's schedules may vary. So I'm going to take a look today at how everybody's doing. Basically, I don't want to force anybody to do anything, but if you are satisfied and say, I did as much as I can on the drawing, I'm not going to do any more, then it's okay. It's your painting. So I'm not going to enforce anything, but we still got time, and it is a good idea to make sure the drawing is pretty decent, right? Okay, so and I think most of you, I might have 1 or 2 more to do because they came in a little bit later, but if some of you may need for me to do those corrections on the computer by overlaying it, then I can do that and send it to you in a few minutes. You can still do that. But you know, I thought about another way. There's 2 other ways that we can get things done. Raise your hand if you've heard of Vermeer, Jan Vermeer. Oh yeah, I know, Alice knows, and Paul. Well, you know that he used a camera oscura, which is kind of like projecting. So you can actually project if you want to. A lot of professionals project. However, it's just not a good idea to just only rely on a projector, because as an artist, you do want to learn how to draw and not just use a projector as a crutch all the time. But it can get you out of a pinch. Norman Rockwell, I'm sure you heard of Norman Rockwell. He projected all the time. Anyways, that's another safety net if you have a projector of some sort. Another method is the grid. The grid is pretty good too. So that's basically, it takes some time to lay some vertical lines, evenly spaced out, and then some horizontal lines. And then of course you want to find out how many are across, how many are going down. And then you do the exact same thing on your picture with an overlay, because maybe if you do it, maybe the non-technology way, you can get like a transparent overlay, like a mylar or a plastic sheet over it. But if you do have access to like computer Photoshop, you can do it digitally, put it right over, and like that. So you can do that too. Anyways, that's another possibility. So I encourage you to work on getting the drawing pretty good, because from here on out, we're going to be just painting. Now, it doesn't mean that as you paint that you can't do corrections. You can do corrections. You can always modify, fix things as you go. Okay, so that's all I have. And then, so once the drawing is done, as a reminder, you can put a fixative over it, go outside to do it, so it's not harmful to your health by breathing that indoors. And then you can start with putting the tones over it and take it from there. You can use a little bit of, as a reminder, it's mostly a wash. You gotta have a little medium in it too, and go over it. And these are the colors that I recommend is raw sienna. And then if you look at that Rembrandt painting very carefully, you see that not all of the underpainting is exactly the same. So some of it, the lighter areas, is kind of a goldish color, and then it shifts into more of a darker and a little more reddish. So burnt sienna could be added there, not replaced, but added into the raw sienna. And then as it gets more into the corners, into the darks, you can even put some burnt umber there. Oh, burnt sienna, sorry, burnt sienna. Wait a minute, I always get confused with those. Right here. Burnt sienna. Burnt umber, yes. And then raw sienna. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to now take a look at everybody's painting to see how it's coming along. And I'm going to be, you can see I worked on mine. And it's pretty fun just to work on it little by little as the days go by. You can just, work 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And I'm still refraining from a lot of color, but I am looking at, I don't know if you can see this, move the pen. You can see this, right? So I'm trying to look at the tonal relationships. For example, here, this is more of the, a finished stage of the underpainting. But if you look at this, this is a dark print. I shouldn't have relied too much on this. I'm going to rely more on the computer for this. But it still shows me that this is a bit lighter than this, right? That's darker than this. That's darker than this. And of course, this is darker too. So me trying to look at tonal relationships. So, when I first started, I was just kind of drawing it. But now I am trying to establish like this is a bit darker than this. And now I'm hitting the corners already. And it can be a few passes over it that you can be doing. And the medium that you can be using is anything that is good for glazing. And one of the good ones is liquid, a little bit of liquid. And the same up here.
Excuse me, Ed, can you pin your screen, please? Can't see your canvas.
Oh, I thought it was here. It's on.
I don't know if anyone else can see it, but I can't on mine. It's not spotlighted.
No, I can't either.
You can pin it on your own screen.
Yeah, you can pin it yourself.
Yeah, you just hit those three little dots.
Look for his one that says Ed Camera, not Ed.
Right.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so can you see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So yeah, that's what I was saying. When you do your underpainting or the monochrome, be conscious of tonal differences. So like that is lighter than this. That is darker than this. So trying to establish a relationship. And like I was saying here in the corner, then you can use some of that burnt umber with a little bit of black, because Rembrandt used black a lot. And so forth, and just do a little bit at a time. You don't have to rush. You probably can't get this effect in one shot. Probably a couple of, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe as it dries in layers. Okay, any questions so far?
Ed, I have a question. This is Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. So on the tonal values, the lightest tone that you have on that canvas is the original wash, the first pass at the wash. Is that correct? You didn't use any washed, watered down gesso or anything on that to make it more translucent?
No, gesso is only when you're working on your drawing to retouch it here and there. And then it should be totally dry by the time you start with any paint. And then once you start with paint, then you can use that raw sienna as the initial pass, which is, again, the lighter areas, kind of like this. Raw sienna there, maybe a touch of black. Then look, it gets a little bit more reddish, burnt sienna, burnt sienna. And then the deeper ones, burnt umber. And you could even put a little bit of black in the deepest areas.
So on the lightest portion near his foot and his face, that's the initial wash, the whiter area.
Yeah.
Outside of his.
This is opaque already. So this is still just a wash. Right here.
Okay, what did you use for the opaque?
A little bit of white and and what do you call it? Naples yellow. Basically a blend, but you know, why don't you wait on that? I'll be explaining that in a moment.
Okay.
Okay, because now we're getting into scumbling and opaque. That's not necessary for you all to be doing at the moment. But later on, if your underpainting is kind of ready, you can start picking up on some of those next steps.
So Ed, I do have, this is Penelope. I have a question about, as you add these darker colors, are you still using the Italian varnish and the solvent?
Yeah, yeah, but you can be doing more of paint, less wash and more paint. Now you want paint. So,
Okay.
so start eliminating the solvent, but you can use that nice base of a Italian varnish oil painting medium.
Okay, thank you.
And by the way, don't get confused, everybody. I know I wish they wouldn't have called it that, but it's not a varnish. It's a medium. It's just called Italian varnish oil painting medium. So the varnish is normally what you do at the very, very end, right? I mean, you're gonna varnish your paint, but I don't know why they call it that.
Ed, are you doing fat over thin?
I'm going, yeah, pretty much, but I'm not even going too fat at all. I'm still keeping it thin as I go.
And what does that mean?
Okay, basically, in painting, if you put, it's just a general rule, that start on the thin side and then you start laying your paint a little bit thicker over that.
Okay.
Not the other way around.
Mhm.
A question about the,
Question with Gary, it's similar. Can you, as we go along, give us some principles on how to mix?
Yeah.
You know, whether to add the color to the medium or, you know, in proportions, something like that.
Sure. In fact, today I decided I'm gonna have now that my iPad is working better, I got my little palette here.
Yay.
And I'm gonna be just putting the colors here as I work. Okay?
Nice, that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad my iPad is cooperating today. It is gonna cover my reference a bit, but I don't care because I'm gonna be looking at my other screen with actually better color. Okay?
I have a question. When you do your painting 10 minutes here and there, where do you put your brushes afterwards? You don't wash them every time, right?
No, I'm a little lazy about that. But anyways, I just like the convenience. I like the convenience of the terpenoid natural. It's just in a bottle here. Look. Oh, wait a minute. I wish I could show it to you. Oh yeah, here. I just put it in a bottle. And of course, the pointy brushes, I don't let sit there because they'll get damaged. But so I just dip them in and put them flat on my palette. The ones that are, you know, flatter like this, I just let them soak there. I can pull them out if I want to. Anyways, I just lay them flat on my glass palette that is right in front of my canvas. And then I can always, when I'm ready to paint though, I gotta make sure I rinse it because I don't want that on my canvas. Because if it does, it'll start eating up my canvas paint because it's pretty strong.
You rinse it with solvent?
Yeah, I have a little bottle of solvent. And on that note, it's probably a good idea to have some kind of like a cap over your solvent because even though it's odorless and all that, you just don't want fumes. So if you can have some kind of bottle with a cap on it would be good.
You use lavender brush cleaner, right?
For the cleaning of the brushes.
Yeah.
Actually, solvent. Oh, solvent? Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Ed, I had a little bit of an issue. I was really satisfied with my drawing and started the wash. And then when I went into the detail around the face, I got some areas just a little too dark. So I used a solvent thinking that I could kind of lift the color. And when I did, some of the gesso loosened up.
Really?
Yeah, and it kind of then got funky. And now I don't know exactly what to do.
Well,
It's only in that area.
Can I zoom in and take a look? Okay,
Let's see.
zoom in.
See the head? It
Yeah,
got messy. It was perfect. And then I thought, oh, well, I need to, you know, pull up a little bit. It got a little too dark. And the
wow.
minute I did that, it like ate the gesso. And the gesso started almost like plastic.
Maybe the gesso wasn't totally finished yet. I mean, finished drying. I don't know.
It was over 24 hours. I would have thought
Wow. Okay, that's weird, but you know what? Just it's not a big deal. Just get, you got sandpaper?
that. Yeah.
Just sand that whole area down so it's smooth, and just
Okay.
go with paint over it and just kind of reestablish, you know, your tones with regular paint.
How long should I wait before I do that now?
You could do it immediately, because if that's dry, then oil paint can go on a dry surface, right?
Okay.
So just sand it down with like 600 grit sandpaper or 400 or something. Just lightly hit those edges, and then
Okay.
you'll be okay. Put an oil painting medium over it. Make sure it's not like flaky, because I've never heard of that happen. But
It was more like gummy.
yeah, is it dry now, or is it tacky?
No, the oil paint's still on it, so no, it's tacky. But it was more like gummy. Just, it was like maybe the gesso was heavy in that spot or something. I don't know. When I was doing all the details and I made the corrections on the face and I had it exactly where I wanted it. And it wasn't until I went in with the darker values, you know, that started happening. It was like, okay, well, I just want to lift it a little bit. And when I did, then it got.
So you got fresh oil paint on it right now? Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do anything around that head today until it's dry.
Okay.
Because it's probably just not good timing right now. And just work around it. You got plenty of time. And then, did you have any kind of dryers to help it to?
I have a heat gun.
What's that?
I have a heat gun.
Oh, okay, but you don't have like, you didn't put liquid or anything on it?
Oh, you meant, do I have something else external to dry? No, I didn't use any liquid in it.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind waiting and coming back to it because I know I can.
Okay, another thing you could do is just get, I know it's a little of a scary move, but get a rag, get solvent, and just take off your oil paint.
I started to do that.
Just take the whole thing off. The solvent will dry, you know, pretty soon.
Okay.
And then once everything's dry, then do your sanding.
Okay.
And then just start with paint. Trust that your paint is going to give you tones and details, but you do want to have a smooth surface. Otherwise, it'll look weird.
Yeah. Well, I figured around the forehead, it might not be as bad because he's got those wrinkles and he kind of did that anyway.
Yeah, you have an interesting area of texture. No, but yeah, I would do that. I would wipe it off with solvent. And then once it's dry, touch dry, get that sandpaper, smooth it out, and then just go with the right colors over it, okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay, so that's what I have. All right.
Can I ask a question, Ed?
Yes.
I just want to speak about the underpainting because I've started the underpainting. I've left it overnight. Is it okay to go up and paint on top?
Okay, I'm gonna have to have everybody that is not speaking put on go on mute, please. Mute all except Ruth. I'm hearing a lot of extra noises. Okay, go ahead again, Ruth.
Sorry, I'm just muted myself again.
Start over. I didn't really understand what you said.
Yeah, well, I've started the underpainting, so I've done quite a lot of the colours and so forth that you showed us to do. But because I've left it overnight, is it safe enough to go in? Because I don't feel I've completed what I was doing. Is it okay to go over the paint at this stage, or do you have to let it dry before you go back to it again?
No, you can. I mean, it's okay to paint wet on wet.
Okay.
It's okay. It just depends. Like there are areas like this. There are areas like this. where you want it, like, let's say this is kind of, let's say that this color right there was still wet, right, across here. And now I'm going in with dark paint to get it darker in the corner. If it's still wet, it may lift up a little bit what's underneath. But if this layer is dry all the way through, and then it's going to be easier to put a dark tone over this bottom layer and just tease it out. So it kind of depends. Like if you're, yeah, it's okay. You can go with, but if you want to have some of that underneath show through nicely, then that underneath area should probably be dry.
Okay. Okay. I was concerned about that, you know, like going in with paint and then it's lifting the paint off if it wasn't properly.
Well, if it is, then that's a sign you should stop.
Stop. Okay.
And work on other areas. Like there's a lot of other areas like these areas that you can be accenting darks. In other words, just be intelligent as to where your work is. Strategic is the word. Be more strategic how you work. If certain areas are not doing what you want it to do because it's wet, then just leave it and go somewhere else. You got choices.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's see, Cherie.
I just wanted to know how you got that really nice modeling effect on the background there.
You mean here?
Yes, the paint looks modeled.
Well, basically layers. So I had to make. I wanted to make sure my placement was right, and so that's in the drawing. I wanted to make sure the drawing was right, and so then I just started to basically put layers upon layers, you know, and then I had a few brush strokes because I noticed that it's not super smooth. If you're looking at the little bit of texture. So I'm just, just trying to play around with it and just hit strokes. Like if I wanted it super smooth, I'd probably have a big brush and just kind of glide it out, but it's not that way. If you look at the painting carefully, it's more little dabs. So I have a smaller, like maybe a brush only this thick, 1 inch thick at the most, and then just start patting it on, And then I would work in this area a little bit more up there. And then here I start to already mess around with certain things I'm going to bring out to you all today. It's called scumbling, where you can see it's already opaque. Certain areas are opaque, like that's opaque. And I was using a little bit of basically black and white because Rembrandt did not use blue too much. So this is basically black and white over the reddish ground. And as you study that painting carefully, you're going to see that he allowed some of that reddish ground to show through. It was pretty beautiful.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, everyone. So let's start painting. Hey, Gabrielle, got a question?
I do. I just had a really quick question. With his robe, did you use the same colors as the background, or did you use a little bit of white or something?
No white.
No white.
But I used combinations of different colors, but raw sienna, I believe maybe a little bit of yellow ochre for the lighter ones. And then I think that was about it. Yellow ochre, maybe a touch of Naples yellow. And then that's it. And then going back, a few accents of the dark would be the raw umber. And I mean the burn umber. And yeah, there's just combinations like that. And then here as a reminder, let me show you something that was helpful to me. I don't know if it's helpful to you, but this is more for people who are can know how to use technology to help them. So let me show you something. Hold on. Okay, so here, let me show you, let me share screen with everybody. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here is our painting, and here is a monochrome. See that?
How do you do that on the Clip Studio?
Okay, here's the tricks of the trade. Okay, so basically I took that layer and then I went to change, what is it? Layer, no, sorry, tonal correction. It's a few steps. If you want to really know and you really want to remember this thing, get a pencil and write this down because you're gonna forget.
Yes, thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, tonal correction. Then you go to hue saturation. So actually, let me do it in front of you right now, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna lift this up. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat this right here, okay? So here's the actual painting, right? Okay, so go to File, no, sorry, Edit, Tonal Correction. And then you go to Hue Saturation. Lower it all the way until it's like a black and white. Then it's okay, right? So now you got a black and white, but since you want the brown tones, now you got to go back and do that tonal correction again, but now using color balance. So now we're going to take that black and white and adjust it. So adding red and then yellow. Pretty cool, huh? So there, you can add more yellow if you want, goldish color, more red color, and there, okay, you got it.
Thank you. The contrast between the light and the darks, we can technically change that sort of then.
Yeah, and like personally, I love what Jane sent us, with this image there. But I wanted it to go slightly darker. And so you can always manipulate that on the computer, so slightly darker. You can do things like that if you want. But I want to maintain that kind of goldish chiaroscuro feel.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Because, I know that when you go to a museum, you look at the original, but sometimes some photographer who puts it in a book takes a picture and it's darker, or lighter. So it's kind of your judgment how dark and light you think it should be. All right. All right. Before we start continuing to paint, anybody got any questions? Any other questions?
Hey, Ed, if I could just make one comment briefly.
Yeah.
To do a monochrome, if you don't have Clip Studio, a simple way to do it is on your tablet. You can just edit.
Are you talking about Procreate? What program are you talking about?
I'm just talking about, like, if you have a photo of anything, you can take a photo and then just edit. You do hit the edit. I have an iPhone. And then if you click on there's some little edit features here. And then you can just pull it around and vivid cool, vivid warm. If you have iPhone, you might dramatic warm, and there's actually a monochrome.
Oh yeah, that's good. Hey, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, you can do that on your phone.
Yeah, so you can just kind of.
I didn't think about that. Thank you, Ryan.
So it's really easy for less techie, or if you just don't want to go through the steps.
Right.
I do that sometimes when I have a painting and I just want to see what it looks like, see if my values are decent.
That's cool, Ryan. Ryan, did you want me to, I know you sent me a picture. Did you want me to go over that and send it back to you?
Yeah, that'd be great. Would you mind taking a look at it?
Okay, I'll take a look at it in a moment. Okay, friends, I don't know, let me show you something. This might be useful to those who have Clip Studio or maybe Photoshop. You can see the screen here, right? My shared screen. Okay, so here is a little feature. Grid. Ooh, that's a high grid, man. Way too high. I don't know. Okay, so I guess you could set it to, let's say 10. Okay, so let's do more. Grid. Number of divisions, gaps 10. So we can change it to, I've never really done it. Oh, hey, look at that, it's working now, look. See, like, look at this. Pretty
I
good.
put 640 gap and 1 division, maybe that. And 640 gap.
640.
640?
But it could, maybe it all depends on, and what else?
And 1.
Like that?
Uh-huh. Oh, no, wait.
Good job.
No, and then on the above,
But I just got an observation. So right here, maybe though you may need more because you want to get that hair really good, right? But let's see what happens if I do 8. Let me see. So the higher the number, okay, so lower the number. So if you want to really go for it, look at that. We got 300. That will give you 1, 2, 3, like a map, right? One. It's like playing Battleship. You know where everything should mark, right? Or boom, the eye. So yeah, you just have to mark this down. Whatever you have here, then you gotta find some kind of system to put it over your canvas. And I think that if you draw it with a regular pencil, your paint is go right over it. I think so, especially if you've already started the painting. I don't know how much it'll grip, but this is very helpful. Okay, everyone, anybody got any questions?
Yeah, Ed, it's Penelope again. My old boss used to say a poor workman blames his tools. So I'm not trying to do that, but I wasn't really happy with my wash. And part of it, I think, was what I asked about earlier about reducing the amount of solvent as you did the darker area. So that would resolve it. What I'm checking on is I don't have to chuck it. I can correct it by just continuing to add layers.
Yeah, you don't have to have a perfect, smooth, super smooth wash. I didn't either because I had part gesso, like areas that I had gessoed out to fix my drawing. And so that, as Aris was mentioning earlier, that will affect to a degree how smooth it is in those areas compared to if you didn't put any gesso down, right?
Right.
So yeah, there might be a little blotchiness at first, but that could all be corrected as you continue to put layers of paint over it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sure. Okay, so I'm gonna do Ryan's drawing right now and send him that. And then I'll go a little bit, let me go and see everybody's little by little after this, okay? Okay, wait a minute, I noticed Ingrid had a question. Hi, Ingrid.
Oh, hi there. So I've finished doing my docs. And so I was just wondering if I should go ahead and start doing the next layer. And what would that be? But I can wait. I can wait if you want.
No, let me take a look. Let me take a look.
Well, it's kind of rough, but as I said, I went a little dark.
Whoa, okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Very nice. Okay, so I would just say, I think it's very nice, but I would encourage you just so that you can have a little bit more smoother transitions. I mean, it's up to you. Right now,
because,
it looks like you're going with the darks as you go and but right now, if you go with the overall even gold color and then just start putting layers, it's going to help you to have a nice transition.
Okay.
Into it. And Rembrandt's work glows. And one of the reasons it glows is because he used kind of layers, and he would transition from gold to reddish and then to dark, you know? So, so if you start think of an illustration like a pianist. The pianist sits in the middle area of the keyboard, and then he hits his darks and then he hits his lights.
Right.
So if you start in the middle tone,
right,
the golds, and then you shift toward the reddish and then the browns, that allows you to create that kind of
a little more gradient, gradual.
Right now, you are approaching this kind of like what do you call that? More like a alla prima approach, where you're putting down the dark color as you go, and you're putting down the middle, and you're actually shifting toward a color. You're going into the colors and all that a little bit more like a thin, opaque approach. So it's a little different. I mean, that's a nice approach, but I recommend underpainting on this. If you want it, but you can do it however you want. I mean, to me, it looks good. The important thing is that you have a good drawing, and then you're gonna develop it. But there are certain, how do you say it, color effects that only happen when you do certain things in layers.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the things I'm offering to share to our class.
Okay.
But it's still early enough. I don't know, is it wet right now or is it dry?
No, it's dry.
Okay, so it's still early enough that you can do raw sienna over certain areas. And it seems like the area all where he is at, you know, where Jeremiah is at, and everything to the left is so light that it
Yeah, I didn't do anything there other than the underpainting.
Yeah, I think
it was light.
Yeah, I would say put it into the middle tones.
Okay.
And then later on, start lifting lights from there.
Okay.
Later. So it's like, look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna share this right now on the screen. You see the painting?
Yeah.
You see the painting here?
Yep.
Okay, let's zoom in. This is about the lightest tone that you can tell is the underpainting right there.
Yeah.
You see that? So that's not light. That's kind of a middle tone, right?
Right.
It's kind of light, but it's not that light. For example, compared to this, that's darker, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this is the underpainting when it's all about similar to this. And then you could always put lights and start bringing it out from there. So once you got this, then you can transition into the other tones, right?
Okay, so do another layer of the
raw sienna.
Raw sienna and try to, build it up.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good, Ingrid. It's looking good. Yours is looking very nice. All right. So let's get with Ryan here. And something that I don't know if this is of any use to you, but something that I've been doing, to me it's pretty fun. It's like every few minutes when I have a little opportunity to paint, I really zoom in on that face, and I want to get that head really good. Get that head really good. And then, some of you are taking the Barg drawing course, and you notice how we talk a lot about curves, concave curves, convex curves, and finding the correct angles of things. all that is going on in my head as we're going through. Then you could always reshape some of the drawing. Of course, some of this could be done with actual colored paint, but why not? While you're doing the underpainting, get things as accurate as you can. It's going to make it easier later. Okay.
Brother, may I ask, is it possible to unspotlight so we can maybe go around and see what others are doing? If that's an option, of course.
You mean you don't want to see my painting anymore?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it this way, but I see so many of the brothers and sisters here working in so many nice, you know, they are progressing very well, and it's nice sometimes to, you know, see that.
Yeah.
But of course, then I would switch back to you, of course.
That's fine. I'm just joking around. I don't care. I want to see everybody's. I want to see everybody's also. Hold on. How do I take it off? Remove spotlight. Okay. Go ahead. The people need to talk then, I guess. But I'm going to be working on somebody's drawing right now.
I don't have to learn how to paint like Rembrandt, but I hear what you're saying.
Can I show you mine? Actually, I think we're still seeing your desktop.
Oh, how did that happen?
You're doing your screen.
Hold on, how did that happen?
Ed, I have a little question.
Yeah.
As we progress, can you tell us what colors on the palette to sort of move on to? So we understand with the underpainting, it's the monochromes of Naples yellow, burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw umber, and the brownies. The brownies, a bit of black and white. As we go on, though, there's like blue in the robe and things like that. Will you tell us,
yes,
as we add the layers, what colors we're going to use in what sequence?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be doing that. Right now, we're working on underpainting still. Like that's maybe one more time. Today, the rest of the day, we're probably just going to be concentrating on the underpainting, and then we'll start with color. Once the underpainting looks like it's giving us enough value, information, and decent drawing, then we'll get into the color.
Okay, great.
All right. Sure. Okay, well, Ryan, I know you're busy, but I sent you your correction. Okay, I'm curious to take a look at some of everybody's, because I'm going to start painting soon, but before I do, I want to take a look at Cindy's. Wait a minute, Lindy has her hand up. Lindy.
Am I able to share screen so I can show you mine?
I can spotlight you.
It's I have to actually use the share screen feature to use my phone to show you real close, but or I can just log in from my phone. No, I can do that. I'll log in from my phone.
So again, everybody just take their time, get a good drawing. You will be grateful later that you took your time on the drawing. No need to rush, right? Get a good drawing, use the grid if necessary. And have fun. Nancy, yours is looking good. I like that background tone that you have. It has a nice monochrome feel. Is it okay by spotlight?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, hold on. Okay, very nice, very nice. It's good. Let me remove stop share. Yeah, it looks nice. That's a good example of a nice underpainting tone. Look at that. I like how, you know what I like about that, Nancy? I like how Jeremiah is a bit darker in the robe area compared to the background to the side, you know, looks good. And yeah, I would say really concentrate on the tilt of the head, the little details. Concentrate on that, and it's going to be beautiful.
Thank you.
Sure. Let's see. Okay, Lindy, your hand is still up. Should I spotlight it? Look at that.
So I was thinking,
Lindy, what's all those gray tones? Is that pencil or charcoal or what? Or
that's
paint?
charcoal. It's charcoal, but okay, so here's my thought. I was thinking about just doing a wash over Jeremiah's robe and letting all those values show through, but then using more opaque paint for the background. What do you think?
Well, you've taken a whole different approach, and it may work. It may work because Norman Rockwell would do very detailed charcoal work. But I don't think it's necessary for the next time to do all that level of shading with charcoal.
Yeah, I got carried away.
You got carried away. But you know what? It's okay. Once you have a fixative, you can replace all that with putting paint right over it.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's still okay. And the important thing is that head. Get that head and let me zoom in. Looks pretty good. Very good. I would zoom in. You know what I would do if I were you, Lindy, since you have the knowledge of technology? I would take a photograph of that up close and then do that overlay on your own. And then just really mark stuff to see how things might be. And just spend maybe one more hour making those little corrections on it.
Oh, I've already spent many hours doing that. I thought I was there.
I mean, it looks good. It's very good tilt. The lip is a little different. I don't see a bottom lip the way you did so much. So accented. It looks good. You know what? If you want to leave it that way, it's good.
Okay.
All right, but I like it. It's very good. I love the foot and everything else.
Okay, thanks.
I think it's good. All right, excellent. I say you're ready to go into that monochrome now.
I'm scared.
Do it. Do it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Anybody else? Cindy, I want to see yours. Yours looks really good. Cindy.
Can you see?
Let me see.
Maybe I can raise my camera.
Okay, I see it now. Very good, Cindy. Look at that. And you got your painting reference right next to you. That's great.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're definitely doing it right, with right track. You're transitioning from that goldish color to a little more reddish and then to the brownish. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then right now, I mean, eventually you don't have to follow a certain order, but like I was pointing out this morning, earlier today, if you squint and look at your reference, you're going to see that the robe of Jeremiah is a little bit darker than what's to his left, right?
Yes.
So if it's wet, then you may need let that dry a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, tomorrow maybe I just start putting some tones in there, and you can take advantage of putting the fold correctly, and then just start tinting it slightly down. So that the idea is you have a representation of drawing and values before you jump into the colors.
Okay.
So I think also you can start lowering some of the value of the column too.
Right in here.
Better, just to lower it down.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't want to go too contrasty.
No.
I know you're just working on it. I know you're just working on it. Keep
Yeah.
that in mind. The goal is balance out the values, and that's why I like this idea here that I was telling you all to have something like a guide like this. You see that?
Yes.
See, like that's not that bright.
Right.
And then this is darker than this.
Yes.
So that's kind of a good little goal or guideline to follow.
Okay. So I'm really happy for the recordings that we get. So thank you, Emerald. I will be, I'm actually leaving in about an hour and a half. I'll be away for till next Tuesday. So I won't be able to do anything this whole week, but then after, and I will miss the class next week. Unfortunately, I tried to go around it and I just can't. So I'll work on, when I get back, I will work on what this class is and next class, and I'll just keep working today as well and keep adding the layers like you said.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
that's nice that we have the whole week in between the next class, because you can always
Yeah.
basically hear what we're shooting for,
Mhm.
and so that we're more or less on the same page as we develop it, and then you have plenty of time in between.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And just one more aside, I have been, I don't know if you're getting my emails about the lessons, the class and whatnot, and receiving payment. I'm not hearing anything back, so I'm just assuming I'm not in the class for September because my name wasn't on the chart.
Oh, okay, maybe I just have had too much going on, but I welcome you back.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely wanting to, so I'm going to just leave it till October. My life slows down a little bit more as well. So
Okay.
I'll try again and submit something for October.
And by the way, you can, some of the students are, they're using that class time to work on this project.
Right, yes.
That works out good because you can get some nice, personal attention there.
Right,
on your
okay.
project. Okay?
Okay, so I'll get back to you in October for that, to start that.
Okay, but I'll keep that in mind for doing the schedule for October.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That was my case as well, Ed. I'm still not on the schedule for September, but would like to be.
Okay, I'm gonna send me an email as a reminder, okay? But
Okay.
yeah, we got room. So basically, we have the arrangement is you could either sign up for a 1 hour class or the full 2 hours. 1 hour is I think it's $20, and then the 2 hours is $35. Okay. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
I'm ready whenever you are, Ed.
Okay, just look at your email. I already did it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure. All right. So friends, I'm gonna do some. Let me take a few. I think Leanne's looking very nice. Let me take a look. Leanne, it's okay. I like those gold colors. It's beautiful. Good job. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Is there anything?
I like the nice transition I'm seeing there from, a middle gold to a little bit of a reddish gold and then getting into the browner. Very nice. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything I should work on?
I would like to zoom in on the face a little bit since the face is so important.
Hang on. I didn't, like the drawing is still pretty rough. I admit, I tend not to be too detailed on my drawings. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, there's no rules regarding the approach, because the fact is a lot of people will kind of creep up on the drawing and develop it as they go. But the underpainting, a lot of underpaintings they nail that soon, and then they go with color over that. But it's looking pretty good. So I would say, yeah, just are you a techie person or no?
No.
Would you know how to take a picture of your drawing there and then overlay it digitally over the painting and see how it lines up?
I would have to download the program, which I suppose I could do.
Okay, because this is just my opinion. What if an artist did everything perfectly on their painting, and then the face is not really looking that great? Yeah, a little off. Then you you kind of feel like you kick yourself and say, why didn't I spend a little more time on that face, right?
Yeah.
So because that's what you're looking at. That's the focal point.
Yeah.
So just do a little extra effort on that, on the lining up. It was very subtle though. It's very hard because like the lid, I noticing the lid, there's a lid there on the top. There's the eyeball there. There's a little bit of eyelashes there. There's a little wrinkle under the eye. This is the positioning of the nose. And then the other eye is almost lost, but it is there. So you got to find that. And then the angle of the eyebrow, how much, and then the little wrinkles. So yeah, that's, you want to see if you can nail that. But it looks like it's very close already. So good job.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right, well, I'm going to start painting now, and I'll get back to everybody in about 15 minutes, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. How's yours coming, May? Coming along?
Hi.
Are you on the drawing stage?
I'm still in the drawing because, well, it was a bit of a predicament for me. I was in Mexico and I had done what someone had suggested with drawing on paper and then transferring it. However, I was drawing it like kind of flat on because obviously I didn't have an easel when I was there. So when I brought it back, I didn't have the program, but what I did is I used trace paper to go over the original and then kind of go over mine to see how it aligned, and it was a bit off. So I ended up just not transferring, and I just ended up drawing it right on my canvas. So I'm still working on it. I don't know if I can.
Okay, let me see it. It looks like it's coming along.
Yeah,
Nice.
I spent a lot of time on the face because that was really hard for me.
Good job. It looks
do.
really good.
So
Nice. I can
guess
see you
it's
have a pretty good angle of the face. Good.
yeah, here, maybe I'll just move it so you can actually see it closer. But yeah, I tried really hard to
Good.
adjust it because it was like one wrong little mark and his nose was weird or something.
It's kind of a long nose.
Yeah, so I had to adjust that. But yeah, it's coming along slowly. So I'm glad I just redid it altogether.
Okay, if you
So I
need
did
it,
draw it twice.
good. If you need any assistance, let me know, okay? But it's
Okay.
Really looking good though.
Thanks.
All right, friends. So everybody's doing great. Paul, yours is looking great. Can I take a peek? Okay, hold on a second. Let me open up your microphone. Okay.
Is it showing up?
That looks good. That looks good. Good tones. Yeah, so it's as you continue to develop it, I noticed you're using a fan brush, so that's good. It's gonna gradually get darker and darker and pretty nice. But it's a nice, middle tone to start with.
Yeah, I'm just layering it at the moment, building it up really. So yeah, quite early on.
And it's kind of nice is that my head looked like yours in the sense that it was a little bit lighter. So you can always go do a little bit of like a glazing around and get that kind of sphere shape of the skull.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could put what I did is I put a kind of a flat tone. Once that dried, I kind of put like an even tone of kind of raw sienna. And then I put a little light for the highlight right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it really popped out nicely. So now I had more of a sphere, a little bit glowing in the center in relationship to everything else, because that's kind of what we see here anyways, you see? So that is the lightest area. And then you have that little spot right there.
Yeah, makes a real good focal point, doesn't it?
Yeah. Very nice. All right, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Evelyn.
Hi.
Ooh, looking good, Evelyn. Dramatic.
Thank you.
Ooh, you're getting into those opaques already, huh?
Yeah, I just did that this morning. I got stuck yesterday. I thought I'd wait because I didn't know what you had used.
Yeah, I use black and white over that, but be careful. Don't go. Okay, look at your drawing to your reference to the left.
Yeah.
It's not, it seems like you're going a little bit too bright on those lights there.
In here or in here?
No, under there, yeah. And
Yeah,
that little
okay.
area, look at your reference compared to that, back and forth.
Okay.
Go back and forth like this. Go back and forth with your eyes like this. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you will see that yours seems to be a lighter, a lot lighter, a lot lighter.
Okay. Okay.
So tone it down, you know. And then on the other one, I mean, I'm kind of seeing this far away, but it looks like it's not necessarily that black and white on the left. I've studied that. It's
okay.
It's not so gray.
Okay.
So certain areas are, but you could always warm it up with a little bit of like burnt, you know, like a yellow ochre or a little bit touch of Naples yellow. So
Okay.
it's not so cold looking there.
Oh, okay. I
All
have
right.
a question about actual how detailed or particular do you have to be when you're doing a replica as far as the brush strokes in, like, say, some of these areas that are just more model? Do you worry about?
It's basically up to you. You know, it's
Oh.
if you. I know people who say replicas are not intended to match exactly. It's just getting the feel, getting the feel, the spirit, and a little bit of the technique. For me, though, I want to get as much as possible, even in the brushstrokes, if possible. So, you know, it's up to everybody's taste. Whatever is going to satisfy them.
Because we're not doing a forgery, right?
I'm trying to.
You're trying. Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
no, we're not doing a forgery. Yeah, because we're going to.
No, but there's a difference between a replica and a forgery, or is that just a wording thing?
Well, a forgery is if you're trying to, you know, come across like it's actually the original. But if you do a replica, you know, as a study and it looks very much like it, I think the more you can, in other words, there's a reason. Isn't it the reason why it's a masterpiece? There's a reason why it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, okay.
It's not just because it's a Rembrandt. Like, I picked this because it's a beautiful Rembrandt. There's a reason why it's beautiful. It's the you know, the transitions, the colors. If one says, yeah, I'm gonna change that bluish robe to a much brighter blue. Okay, that's good, but is it gonna have the same feel of the beauty of that classical feel of the Rembrandt? No.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna shift to something cartoony. And then if it makes you happy, fine. But the goal is to get as much as possible to make it look like that so that it looks like a masterpiece. And you end up learning lessons to make, like, what did I learn from this as I copied it? Oh, maybe the saturation is not that high. You know, oh, maybe look how Rembrandt maintained a beautiful harmony because he used this and that, and it's not as cold here, it's warm here, but the only cold is really on those grays underneath there, and on the garment it's a little bit cooler, but a very muted gray. See, that's what we learn when we do replicas. Look at where he went transparent and where he went opaque, things like that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, but it's looking really good.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna do some painting. You guys make me want to paint. Oh, I see a hand up, Eunice.
Yeah, I just gonna say that in regards to what Evelyn was talking about, my research on the subject is, as long as you don't sign the Rembrandt signature, you're fine. You can copy as much as you want, as perfect as you want. Don't sign his name on your work.
You're right. You're right. Rembrandt 2021. You fool.
I think I already signed it. Sorry. Isn't his signature? Correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but I think is that his signature down there? It says like R.
It's kind of like
1630
or something like that. It's like I've never seen it abbreviated that way, but it's very interesting.
But that's the date it was painted, was 1630, correct?
Yeah. And this is an early Rembrandt, by the way. So this is pretty cool. That's kind of my favorite. I think it's overall my favorite of his technique style is the early Rembrandts. He got really rough toward the end, you know, but you know, that's a matter of. Hey, Rachel. How's it going?
Hello, hi, thank you. I'm sorry, I know you're trying to paint, but I was wondering if you could take a quick look at mine.
Sure.
I didn't have it checked out by you. I wanted to, but I was gone and then I got panicky, so I just went ahead.
Go ahead.
Fortunately, my instructor helped me out, but I didn't even have her recorrect it, so I am prepared for a lot of critiquing. And I also, so I'm stalling, but anyway, I also I'm working on my my original whatever, this thing.
Looking good, yeah.
But I've decided to, so I've done everything except the head. So I'm scared. So I was hoping you could tell me what I need to do with the head before I start.
Okay, so I think you can do a couple of things and it's your choice. I can see that there's more of a tilting lower on the right side of in the eye. That whole slant can be a little bit more tilted. Okay. But in the mouth, it seems to be needing to go a little bit lower. The nose might need to be a little bit longer downward. But one of the best things I think I could do is recommend take a good picture of the figure. You can do the whole painting if you want. Take a picture of it and send it to me. Make sure it's nice and straight so that there's no distortion to your photograph. And send it in about 5 minutes. I can send it to you with a correction on it, like if wherever things are not lining up quite right, and then you can just erase or use a brush and start plotting the points in with paint if you want.
Okay. Thank you. Can you tell me please again what your email is?
Yeah, I'll put it here on the chat. Okay.
Thank you. I have a few options and I didn't know which one was the right one.
Okay. So it's Ed Salazar Fine Arts at Gmail.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right there.
Okay, thank you.
And then you got the other option that we explained earlier today about a grid if necessary, okay?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay, sounds good. Looking good.
Hi, Ed.
Hey.
This is Manila.
Hola, hermana. How you doing?
Good. So I think I'm almost finished my drawing. I just wanted you to take a quick peek.
Okay, can I get a little closer to it? Can you bring it tilted? Oh yeah, looks pretty good. Nice. Very nice. Okay, good. I like it. Do you put a fixative? You think you're ready for a fixative over it?
I don't know how to do it. I'm way behind in skill level from everyone in your class because I've never really taken drawing classes, but I like to draw. And I've never done, I've done acrylic painting, but I've never done oils. So I'm like the step-by-step kind of student. So if you can just let me know what I need to mix to start with the undercoat, as you're saying, that would be great.
Before you mix anything, do you have fixative?
Okay, so
because if you just start with paint right over that, it's going to smear your drawing.
Oh, okay. So I need to put fixative. I could do this during the week and have it ready. And then
if you want, though, I mean, we still got 45 minutes. So
because I don't know if I have to check if I have fixative because I do have some clear coating, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. I have this kind of coating.
That will work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, crystal clear. That actually may even work better because that's pretty permanent.
Okay, so I have this one, and I also have this UV resistant clear.
Acrylic coating, that will work too. Both of them will work.
Okay, so I should just go outside and spray it. And how long will it take to dry?
Show me the first one again.
Oh, okay.
I would go with that one. You know why? Because the other one says gloss. And I don't think you really want gloss. So crystal clear, that's good. And
that one looks like gloss also, Ed.
Where? I
Oh,
don't
this
see-
one's not, this one's gloss. It says it on the.
that one's gloss.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
one.
well, if you look down below crystal clear, it says gloss, I think, on there too.
It does, yeah.
That's okay. Either one, it's going to be good.
There?
But if you spray it
Uh-huh.
like away, like not really close, it'll create more of a fog instead of a glossy, glass finish. More
Okay.
orange peel is what they call it.
Yeah, so you know what? The good thing, Sister Ortiz, you can let it dry. You can go, relax, drink some water, watch me paint or whatever you want. But basically, I think about 5-10 minutes is all you need.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that outside and then I'll come back and continue with you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can I just add that you should shake that can for the full 2 minutes that they say to shake it?
Oh, great, thanks. Thanks for the advice.
And do the fingertip test after it's dry to make sure that you have no more pencil on your fingertip because it'll smear.
Good. Test it out. That's good.
If you don't get a layer.
I'm sorry, you're getting cut out. Okay, I think you got cut off. All right, thank you.